How is everyone doing on this Thursday evening? It's 21 News Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm here. It's the Valley's most crazy, detailed, in-depth weather forecast video, thankfully. Unlike yesterday, we had no weather surprises today. Things behaved as expected today. It was the coldest morning of the season so far by 1 degree. We hit 14 one morning back in November during that mid-month cold snap, but we hit 13 at the airport this morning. It was pretty much universally in the mid-teens, although some cooler backyards did get down to 12, even 11 degrees at the start of the day today. So, yeah, cold start, but as promised, it actually turned out to be a pretty decent afternoon with some milky sunshine, temperatures sneaking above freezing, and not as much wind as we've had over the last couple of days. Pretty unremarkable first 12 days of December temperature-wise. These are the high temperatures displayed, and then the average, 1.6 degrees above average, is for highs and lows. So no extremes here. We had a couple of mild high temperatures earlier on this week, but nothing crazy cold, nothing real unusual for early December. As far as snow goes, again, fairly uneventful so far in December. We've tallied 2.1 inches worth of snow at the Youngstown Warren Airport. An inch of that came last Thursday on the 4th. And we've just gotten nickeled and dimed a little bit a handful of other days. We had no measurable snow out there today. When we do a little check-in on our snow compared to average for the season so far, we've had 10.9 inches at the airport. Some people have been surprised by that number. When did we get that much snow? Well, don't forget, we had that cold snap in mid-November, and we had one system that brought a few inches worth of snow during the middle of the month. I think officially the highest total at the airport for one calendar day was 4 inches with a system in mid-November. Now, that's just one location. That's where the official numbers are kept, but your mileage always varies in snow situations. Maybe you didn't have that much with your mid-November storm, but at the airport, yeah, 10.9 is where we sit so far for the season. Average through today's date is 9.7, so we're 1.2 above average. Last year through today's date, we picked up 11.8, so about an inch more than we've seen so far this year. Not adding anything to those totals tonight, and actually not tomorrow as well. Our next weather maker is just starting to get its act together. Low pressure down across the Gulf Coast region. This will bring a threat for some icy weather across the central and southern Appalachians. Around here, I'm not expecting any sort of winter weather impacts. First thing we're going to see, an increase in clouds tomorrow. Then we'll see the rain, but it's going to take until tomorrow night, well after sunset, probably close to 11, maybe midnight. We'll see the rain pushing in. It'll turn out to be a wet Friday night. As we go into the daylight hours on Saturday, just kind of a gloomy day. Brisk winds, showers coming and going, and as we get into the afternoon and the air aloft starts to cool some wet snowflakes may start to be seen, maybe some graupel mixed in with our rain. Just not a real nice day. Hopefully you took care of putting up the lights already or any other outdoor holiday-related activities. Now, the roads will be fine for holiday shoppers. It'll be a real busy day on area roads and at shopping centers. Second to the last Saturday before Christmas. It'll be real busy out there, and the roads will be wet. All right, just some leftover flurries then for Saturday night. Heading into Sunday morning, classic winter look to things here. Downwind of the Great Lakes, just a sea of clouds. Stratocumulus clouds will be overhead for just about all of the day on Sunday. That's a satellite presentation that we see very often as we go through the cold weather season. Now, if you're doing some traveling this weekend, again, locally, wet roads, no snow accumulation locally. If you happen to be, for any reason, heading up I-90 Erie to Buffalo, once again, that's going to be kind of a trouble spot with some lake enhancement, with some snow showers later Saturday into Saturday night and parts of Sunday as well. All right, an update on our early week system. If you've been following my posts and Weather for Weather Geeks this week, we've been talking about this early week system that still have a lot of question marks with it. I think we're becoming more and more convinced that this will not be a big snowmaker. This model solution is the European model, one of our major kind of medium-range models, and taken literally, it would suggest we'll see a period of snow and then some freezing precipitation Monday night and maybe a little rain mixed in as well. But even if it does snow, it's not going to be a whole lot. Now, the GFS model, I'm not going to show you that graphically. It has a stronger system that's pulling up a little farther to the west and therefore drawing in more warm air, and so it has even less snow than the European has. The European has a weaker, farther south system, keeping us cold enough for at least a little snow. But still, even that, with the weaker system, it is not advertising a lot of snow. And whatever is out there will be gone by pretty early in the day Tuesday, probably just some leftover flurries for Tuesday morning. So this, this is by no stretch of the imagination a final forecast at this point. And what I did want to show you is this real quickly before we get to the longer range. This is just model information. It's not our forecast. But again, an update on where we stand as far as the model output goes with snow. GFS and Euro, very, very little. Inch or less. GFS Ensemble model, up to an inch or so. Just not a lot being shown on the modeling as far as snow goes. So some things can still change, but as it stands right now, I'm not real optimistic, if you will, that this will be any sort of big-ticket snow item. We do have some changes in the thinking in the longer range to talk about this evening. I've been talking about the run-up to Christmas, mild pattern taking over kind of in the last week before Christmas. With each subsequent day over the last few days, that warm-up has been pushed back a little bit farther each day, so now it looks like it'll be Christmas and after that looks kind of mild. In the week before Christmas, actually looking a fair amount colder. The reason for that, the modeling is starting to pick up on some changes in the northern hemisphere, and to a trained eye or to an untrained eye, this just looks like a bunch of squiggly lines, right, and some pretty colors. Well, the colors are the temperatures here at the ground, the squiggly lines, kind of the airflow, if you will, up at about 18,000 feet above our heads. We're not going to get into a lot of the hardcore meteorology here, but what we have going on, and something the models weren't showing a handful of days ago, but now they're cluing in on, is notice this area up here near Greenland. This is Greenland right here. This is an area of high pressure aloft that is going to try to situate itself up here. When we get some ridging aloft in that particular zone near Greenland, sometimes referred to as the Greenland block, what a lot of times it does is it forces a lobe of the polar vortex, if you will, a little vortex. It forces it south down into Canada. When that happens, the cold air gets dragged to the south. So because of this configuration, I do think there's going to be some pretty good cold shots later next week into perhaps next weekend as well. That's pretty intense looking for New England especially. So you have a lobe of the polar vortex coming all the way down into northern New England on the 21st, which is next Saturday, last Saturday before Christmas. That's a cold looking weather map with the flow coming in like this rather than west to east across the country. So bottom line for you is the forecast is trending colder for the second half of next week. Does not necessarily mean it's going to come with a lot of snow. I still don't see a lot of model information suggesting a snowy pattern for us in the lead up to Christmas. But as you can see on the 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, there's some blue east of the Mississippi with the warm weather confined to areas out west. Now, according to the latest model information, it does look milder by Christmas and perhaps a few days beyond Christmas as well. I put out my initial stab for the White Christmas forecast last evening. In case you missed that, our historical odds of seeing an inch or more of snow on the ground Christmas morning, 46%. This year, my initial forecast is 30% odds. Now, even though I don't see a lot of snow happening as of right now in the lead up to Christmas, we're still far enough away that I don't want to stray too far from the historical average, but I have some confidence right now that the chances of a white Christmas will be lower than the historical average, which is about 46%. All right, that'll do it for me tonight. Thanks as always for watching Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you back here on Friday.